Hey there, friends and enemies, JoPa here again, and with today's sandbox changes in Destiny 2 and the brand new Contest of Elders activity, I want to make my first Titan build for Episode Revenant Act 2. And this activity specifically is quite a bit different from Onslaught. You have to be very fast, so speed is paramount. You want to clear ads and also clear bosses and mini bosses as fast as possible to get the best rewards and complete it as quickly as possible so you can get back to farming. The same thing goes a little bit for Onslaught, but that activity requires more defensiveness and survivability because with the Contest of Elders, you have some revive tokens, and if you play it smart, you're not going to burn through them very quickly. Now, as far as the build goes, this one is going to be pretty familiar to a lot of Titans based on how I set it up, with some tweaks and the weapons being very different from what you might be used to for several reasons. So this all starts with the Stoicism mark. I have mine with Spirit of Inmost Light and then Spirit of Syntheseps. Melee damage is tremendous right now. It also really pairs well with the changes to the supers. Specifically, I'm going to talk about that in a second, but you can replace these perks. You can also run just Syntheseps if you want to, or Heart of Inmost Light. All of that would work just fine with this build, but this combination is absolutely insane. As far as weapons go, I'm running the Rake Angle. I have Overflow and Chill Clip. Chill Clip is very important. This one deals a bit more damage than I think people might expect. Good for survivability if you need it with the defensive shield, and overall, I just really enjoy this new glaive, and having one in my kinetic slot is very nice, but having the Chill Clip for the stasis is very, very important as I'm going through the activity. Then I have Insurmountable. Now, you might think I'm running two close range weapons. That sounds strange, but with this new activity, you're not going to be playing at a distance all that often, and you want to be moving around quite a bit depending on which modifiers you have. This one has Repulsor Brace and Destabilizing Rounds. Absolutely insane. Whatever close range SMG or sidearm you want to run, I feel like an AR would be fine too, but pulse rifles, scouts, all that kind of good stuff, not really as useful. Same thing with bows in this activity in particular. Then as far as your heavy weapon, I'm running Prospector, but really any heavy grenade launcher that is going to melt bosses would work here, and they did fix one of the artifact perks as well that could help out, but overall, yeah, just kind of run what you want, and you can even run an exotic in this slot instead, and it would work just fine. As far as the major change to the prismatic subclass, I'm running Blade Fury. It's definitely noticeable how big of a buff the roaming supers got, and Blade Fury in particular works really well with Syntheseps, so that's why I'm rocking this one. You can clear ads. Plus, with the setup I have, I'm going to be either prismatic with Transcendent, or in my super a lot of the time I pretty much spam abilities, which is nice because there are some modifiers that restrict how much ammo you do, and you want to be able to clear ads and also mini bosses with your super and abilities on top of just your base weapons. Now, as far as the abilities go, I am using Thruster, whatever movement you want. Frenzied Blade, although you can swap this out. I like the 3 charges personally, and you'll see in the gameplay this is pretty common. I'm going to use Consecration a lot. I also have on a Pulse Grenade, although you can change this, and I'll explain why I'm running the Pulse Grenade. It's just nice to set it and forget it with this grenade, which I do enjoy. Knockout for the healing, absolutely awesome, and then also Consecration. I can use this a lot with the Frenzied Blade, so that's why I enjoy running that. And when you have the Heart of Inmost Light, it allows you to spam your 3 abilities, and even though the cooldown is longer on Frenzied Blade, it does not matter because of how quickly you're getting your abilities back. Fragments, I'm running Awakening. This is really nice, so that way you're going to get those elemental pickups. Then you got Ruin. This is going to be huge for those solar ignitions. This Facet of Grace, this is so that way defeating targets with your super grants you and nearby allies bonus Transcendence. This is important and something that I think people often overlook. I do like this one, even though I'm not running a kinetic weapon. Then we've got Blessing. Melee final blows start health regen. This is also very nice. And then finally, we've got Facet of Protection. While surrounded, you are more resistant to incoming damage. As far as the artifacts perks go, none of them are too insane as far as what I'm rocking. Supernova is very nice, so you will generate those Void Breaches and create a weakening pulse on top of having repulsor or destabilizing rounds, which is very, very effective. Kinetic impacts now has been fixed. It should be significantly better. I haven't tested a lot, but this is nice in case you run into unstopped champions in the activity of running this. Then we've got concussive reload, which is also nice for weakening bosses especially, and especially with the prospector, you're shooting really quickly and you're able to weaken on the first shot and then just keep rocking from there. Then we've got curative orbs. This is one of the new ones. So the first time you break a target's shield, you are going to create an orb of power, which is nice. The thick of it is another new artifact perk. Rapid final blows while surrounded grant you an armor charge. Again, very close range weapons and abilities. Then we've got power from pain. Rapid final blows against weakened combatants grants you devour, which is nice. Rapid impacts, so dealing damage with grenade launcher temporarily increase the reload speed. Fell the Revenant. Enhanced Ether Generator, because I do have a Dark Ether Reaper weapon on. And then finally, the other new one that I am rocking is Authorized Mods Melee. So all melee pretty much costs one mod instead of 3 at times, which is very, very nice. That leads me to the mods that I am running on my armor. We've got Void Siphon, Hands-On, Heavy Ammo Finder, Heavy-Handed Firepower Impact Induction. We've got Strand Resist, Concussive Dampener, and Arc Reserves. Better Already, Absolution, Arc Weapon Surge, and then Distribution Reaper and Outreach. All of these combine really well. In general, you're not going to see me firing my weapon a ton, to be honest with this build. Essentially, I am using my weapons to generate an overshield with my sidearm, so I will destabilize the enemies, cause them to be volatile, and then I will get the repulsor brace, get my overshield. That's very nice. Then I will proceed and I will use a chill clip to free some enemies sometimes, but overall I'm leading with a grenade or my thruster, using my melee ability a couple times, and then pretty much having those on rotation, and then just using my weapons in between to get a couple kills. And this isn't anything that is out of the norm as far as Titan builds go, but it is very effective and very fast. And I did want to show this off right away because I got my first clear in a pretty decent time overall, and I got the full Warden's Favor ×3, so I got the best rewards at the end as well, and I got that Triumph done. So if you want to do that, if you want to do this very quickly, even if you're playing with randoms, I did it completely match made. I didn't have to worry about teammates. It's very simple to do with this build, especially if you get a nice rotation. Sometimes you may die if you're in the thick of it as the enemies get tougher, but overall that's not that big of a deal, and it probably won't happen that often, especially if you're able to keep the rotation up. One thing to remember, like I said, constantly use your insurmountable in between using your abilities, which you should have uptime. Oh, I almost forgot. After you pop Transcendence and you use all your abilities there, you'll pretty much refresh your abilities as well. So the amount of spam is actually insane, and it might be a little bit broken because of how condensed these areas are and how many enemies there are. You can clear the mini bosses with one melee plus maybe a shot or two of something. You can absolutely destroy bosses as well, whether it's with your super or with your grenade launcher. So it just works out very, very well. This is one of my favorites so far. I definitely am going to tinker with this a bit and see what I can do to make some adjustments, so that way I have some other builds ready. I definitely have some ideas for a Void build with Doomfang. Sounds like it could be pretty insane. And then an Arc build with the Fists of Havoc. Those are incoming as well. And then I'm also going to try some things out with the Arc builds for the Warlock, some builds with the Warlock as well that I'm really thinking about. But anyway, let me know what you guys think about this build in the comments down below. Like the video as always, comment, subscribe as you would. Helps out the channel tremendously. My name is JoPa. Have a good one, and I'll catch you all later.